Have you guys noticed that ever since Wuthering Waves came out, HoYovese has kind of been on the A game when it comes to Genshin Impact? There's been so many good quality of life updates recently that a part of me thinks that this can't be a coincidence. With the recent success of Wuthering Waves in the 2.0 update, it wouldn't shock me if HoYovese felt a little bit threatened by it. With Genshin Impact now being 4 years old, you can start feeling its age with some of its gameplay mechanics. So in order for HoYovese to get people to stay with Genshin Impact, they have to fix the core issues and address some of the complaints that people have been having with the game. And they've been doing just that, more so than ever before. So it's safe to say that Genshin Impact and HoYovese are desperate. And I am loving it. So let's talk about it. Before we get started, like always, if you got some more Genshin Impact content, definitely hit the like and subscribe button, yada yada yada. Anyways, back to the main topic. I've been saying how Genshin Impact and HoYovese are desperate, but are they really desperate? Probably not. Maybe a little bit worried, sure, but desperate? I don't really think so. But we all know that comparing Genshin Impact and Wuthering Waves, as well as talking bad about Genshin Impact, gets views, so yeah. Let me have this narrative, okay? That being said, there has been an unusual amount of good quality of life updates recently, so yeah, there is some truth to it, I guess. I'm not gonna list them all, but I have a list of some of the quality of life updates that kind of stood out to me that came out after Wuthering Waves. So yeah, Wuthering Waves came out on May 22nd of last year. So that was around 4.7. So ever since then, some of the quality of life updates that we gotten from Genshin was an increased resin cap from 160 to 200. There has been countless artifact updates like the sorting system and also remembering what artifact set that you are looking at for a certain character, and also like recommending stats like putting the best artifacts on top, which is perfect for new players. But yeah, as you guys know, they made the artifact grinding a little bit better by introducing the artifact transmitter in 5.0, which is great. It allows you to pick your artifact and stats or whatever. It's still very limited because you only get a certain amount of the sanctifying elixir every patch, but still, it is a start and it's a great update. Probably my favorite update out of everything here, and they are updating it to make it even better, which is great. So I'm looking forward for it to be even better in the future, because right now where it's at is not really that great. You can also see how many times the substat got increased or upgraded on your artifact. They also increased your artifact inventory space from like 1,800 to 2,000 or something like that. I don't really know exact numbers. You no longer have to wait 5 minutes for a Trounce domain boss to respawn. It was like 5 minutes before, and then it got decreased to 10 seconds. I think it's talking about the Trounce domain, like, you know, the Volans and whatnot. I could be wrong, but the patch notes were kind of vague. It says something like boss something, I don't exactly remember. So yeah, I think that's what it's talking about. But in terms of like the world bosses, the respawn time is now immediately after you accept the rewards. But yeah, the respawn time for like getting flowers for your character's ascension materials, at least for some of them, decreased from 48 hours to 46, which is only 2 hours, so not too much. They updated the adventure encounters, which is basically like the journal thing, and you can do that instead of doing the daily quest. They did some updates to that and made it a little bit better. You can now see where flowers are in game. You don't really need a external website anymore. You can now just click on collect when you're like searching up a flower, and it'll show you every, well not every, but like most of the flower spots in game, which is a godsend, because using a website or like the interactive map, I think that was horrible. So yeah, thank God for that. It took them like what, 40 years for them to include it in their game, so that's a big change right there. They also did some updates to the battle pass, changing like the missions and whatnot. Yeah, like nothing too crazy, but hey, still update the battle pass. Oh yeah, they also made it so you can like choose what rewards you want. That's also another update to the battle pass. In Spiral Abyss, you now skip floors 9 and 10, depending on whether or not you get 3 stars on floor 11, I think, and also like floor 12. I think you need 3 stars on floor 11 and 12 in order to skip them, but I kind of wish they let us skip them in general. If you just beat 412, even if you don't get 36 stars, at this point, like, it's not even that hard anymore, so that'd be nice. But yeah, you can now see how much materials you can craft in your item menu. So for example, if you're like looking at talent books, you can now see you can craft this many talent books without having to actually craft them yourself, which is nice because now I know how much I need in order to have enough for my character's talent and whatnot. They also increased the damage of certain reactions like Overload, Superconduct, Electro Charge, and Shatter, so that's nice. Character story quest no longer requires keys, which is great because sometimes it's kind of a pain being time gated and getting a character story quest because you don't have enough keys, and it takes like what, 2 days in order to get 1 key, and I think you need like 2 keys in order to unlock 1 story quest. or maybe 1, I'm not really sure. So yeah, it's kind of annoying. But yeah, they got rid of that. Now character key is only for hangout quests, which they never really do anymore, which kind of stinks. So yeah, hopefully they do more of that in the future. But you guys know how sometimes you're doing a story quest and a character, like an NPC or something like that, is locked towards like another quest or whatnot, or like a playable character is like locked toward another quest, and that is like super annoying. But yeah, in Natlan, they added a feature where you can choose which character appears in what quest. So no longer will you be locked out to doing a Archon quest because an NPC or like a certain area is being used for another quest. That is a godsend right there, and it's only available in Natlan, I believe, because in the latest Leeway Lantern Rite story quest, that feature is not available, and I suffered because of that. It happened 2 times to me during this year's Lantern Rite, and I'm like, god dang it, man. Like, I thought they got rid of it, but apparently it's only for Natlan, so that kind of stinks. Hopefully they add it for future region and like past region, because that's super annoying. But yeah, they also increased the amount of boss materials you get. I'm not sure it was before or after Wuthering Waves came out, but yeah, that's awesome right there, because previously we only got 2 materials, sometimes 3 when we beat a boss, but now we get a minimum of 3 and sometimes 4, which is not that much, but definitely helps a lot. Because that extra boss material does add up. And it was just listed with just some of the updates they added into Genshin after Wuthering Waves came out, and man, that's a lot. And a lot of them are really good changes, and there's a lot more too that I didn't list. You guys can check it out for yourself in like the Genshin Impact wiki. But yeah, let me know which of those updates that I just listed is your favorite, or you guys have another favorite that I didn't list in my list. Let me know in the comment section below. Yeah, I'm pretty sure like I was gonna say like the resin cap increase. It took them like 3-4 years for them to increase the resin cap. When the game first started, the resin cap was 120, I believe. Then they increased it to 160 after complaints, and that was like all in the 1.x patch. And then in like 4 point something, they increased it to 200. But yeah, in terms of what updates I feel like Wuthering Waves directly inspired Genshin to do in their game is, like before, the resin cap just increased it to 200, and honestly I kind of expect it to increase in the future. Not only is Wuthering Waves resin cap still a little bit higher, but also because in HoYovese versus other games, their stamina system is at 300, so I expect our resin cap to increase again in the future, probably to 300. And also I expect them to add it in the storage, I guess, like resin storage, because Wuthering Waves have that, and also HoYovese versus other games have that. So I kind of feel like we're gonna see that in the future, maybe like 6.0, because that is like a new set of patches, whatever, like a new version, new region. Increasing resin 6.0 definitely add to the hype of a new region. So yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if we see that during 6.0. Another update I feel like Wuthering Waves inspired in Genshin is better exploration. So you guys know how when Wuthering Waves first came out, people were clamoring about how climbing walls and mountains were so much more easier and faster compared to Genshin Impact. If you guys don't play Wuthering Waves, your characters can wall run up the cliff or the wall and do like flips or whatever. And there also is the whole grappling system, which also adds to the increased verticality in that game. Yeah, like we didn't have that in Genshin. All Genshin had was Kazuha and his extra like jump, and also we had Wanderer and his like flying ability, but that didn't really go that high, and that's kind of about it. Also, I guess Shan Yun as well, but that didn't too crazy. She only did like a little hop. That's basically all we had in Genshin when it comes to exploration. I know we have like some other characters like Yelan, whatever, that can run really fast, but those are kind of limited, I guess. Like it only goes so far. I guess the craziest thing we had when it comes to exploration in Genshin at the time was Furina and her like being able to walk on water infinitely. That was cool. And also we had Kokomi as well, but hers is limited. Yeah, like that's basically all we had when it comes to Genshin. But yeah, now ever since Wuthering Waves came out in Natlan, oh my goodness, like all the characters there has some sort of like exploration ability that makes exploration so much more fun and faster. It's great. You got Mulani's shark thingy that can glide on water, and also use that on land to go a bit faster. You got Kenichi's Spider-Man abilities, it's so cool. And then we also have Shilonin's wall climbing abilities, like she can literally skate up a wall, and also like using her skates pretty fast as well on land. And you got Chaska being able to fly. We also got Marika, who can basically do everything with her bike. She can like glide underwater, she can ride up a wall, she can sort of double jump, and she also can glide with her bike. And as for Sitlali, she can just do a little bit of a jump or a hop, whatever. Nothing too crazy, but she can glide infinitely. You know how when you're using a glider in Genshin, there's a stamina system? But with Lolly, if you glide with her, there is no stamina, so you can just keep gliding forever. Not to mention in Natlan, you can also transform into like the Saurians. It also has some more exploration abilities. So yeah, so many like different exploration abilities in Natlan, and there's gonna be more in the future. Genshin definitely addressed that exploration issue with Natlan, and I honestly wouldn't be shocked if Wuthering Waves was one of the reasons for that. Well, I mean, to be fair, we don't really know whether or not Wuthering Waves did play a role to that. There's a good chance that HoYovese was already planning on making the Natlan characters have the exploration abilities, because as you know, creating a character in Genshin takes a few months, and not only that, but ever since Fontaine, they've been adding more exploration abilities and just making exploration a little bit better, so I would not be shocked if they already planned this, but at the same time, we'll never know, and it just feels like Wuthering Waves influenced Genshin in doing that. But yeah, recently in Wuthering Waves, in their newest region, Renacita or something like that, I don't know how to pronounce it, they added wings or gliders where you can actually fly with characters. That's actually really awesome to see in that game. Like, so much fun to play as well. So I would not be shocked if we see that in Genshin in the future. Like flying, not like Chaska and Wanderer's limited flying ability. Like, I'm talking about actually flying in the air in Naya or something like that. Oh, especially since the Traveler has those wings in the beginning of the game, they can add that as actual like thing, like flying in the game. That'd be crazy. And they can do it too with the lore in the game. All this is like lining up perfectly for them to do that, so I would not be shocked in the future. Maybe in Conria, who knows? Like in Conria, we go in the sky or whatever, because I think Conria is in the sky. We unlock these wings and we just like fly around. Yo, that'd be crazy if they did that. So I wouldn't be shocked in the future if we see that. Maybe not in Naya, but maybe in Conria. So HoYovese, WuWa gave us flying in that game. So you're up next. Where's the flying at, huh? Hopefully it comes soon. I'm praying. But another thing that maybe Wuthering Waves inspired in Genshin is I know this is kind of controversial, but the increase in fan service. You guys know how in Wuthering Waves, I mean, you guys don't know how. I'm not sure if you guys actually play Wuthering Waves. Some of you guys probably do. But you guys didn't know, Wuthering Waves has another name besides WuWa. The other name that Wuthering Waves kind of go by, at least for the fans anyway, and people who play this game, is Gathering Wives. And basically, you guys didn't know, a lot of the characters in the game, not just like female, but also I think like male characters as well, are in like love with the Rover, which basically like the Traveler in that game, or like the MC in that game. So yeah, hence the name Gathering Wives. And it's mostly Gathering Wives because most of the characters in that game are female, at least for the playable characters anyway. That's why it's dubbed Gathering Wives in like the fan base. So yeah, prior to like Wuthering Waves, Genshin really didn't have that much fan service when it comes to playable characters and the Traveler. We did have like the occasional Ayaka, Kokomis, Shunhas, Kaching, Navia. Her interactions with the Traveler are absolutely adorable, but I'm gonna be a little bit biased, I don't know. And probably some other characters out there as well that I just don't really remember. Most of the fan service when it comes to the Traveler and the playable characters are in like the menu, voice lines or whatever, or maybe they're called character voice lines or something, I don't know. But also in the teapot, and that's kind of about it. You didn't really see too much fan service when it comes to like the Archon quest, the story quest, the event quest. But yeah, ever since Wuthering Waves came out, and also I guess in like a 5.0 in general, the fan service has definitely been increased for sure. HoYovese is out here gooning it up. But yeah, ever since Wuthering Waves came out, we got what? The summer event with Nilou's Hug and Nilou's Lap Pillow, and then we got Mualani's Hot Spring date or whatever. Not really a date, but you know, whatever it is, hang out. And then we also got Mavwika and the Traveler holding hands while giving birth to a sword. And also got the Traveler holding onto Mavwika's hips during the ride out of the abyss. I think also we had a moment where Mavwika was like, you can hold onto my waist while we ride on a motorcycle in a story quest. So yeah, Mavwika is really obsessed of wanting the Traveler to hold onto her waist. I'm just kidding, but maybe I'm not, who knows. We also see Lolly being in love with the Traveler. Honestly, I never thought Lolly would be in love with the Traveler. Like when we first saw her, I didn't think that at all, but it definitely took me for a surprise, and I'm all for it. It's absolutely adorable. And yeah, also in the recent 5.4 event quest or whatever, the recent one that's going on right now, we had a hot spring picture cutscene, whatever, with And also we had one with A, Yai, and Mizuki, the new character. I have not played that event quest yet, so don't spoil me on this. I don't want to know. That's just all I know so far. Not to mention, I believe in Mizuki's story quest. I haven't played this yet. Please don't spoil me on this, but there are some moments between her and the Traveler, I think. So a lot of fan service ever since WuWa, you know. Obviously, I don't think this is all Wuthering Waves influence. If I didn't know, there was I don't know, basically Da Wei was talking to a bunch of Genshin fans during like the announcement of Natlin, and he was saying how they were kind of confused how they want to take Genshin's direction in the future, and they're kind of lost. So they kind of interviewed a bunch of Genshin fans to see what they really wanted in the game, and they're saying how after the interview they knew what people wanted and they were going back to the roots or something like that. Obviously it's all paraphrasing and also on translations, so there might be stuff that's lost in translation, but I think that's basically what they said. Maybe I might have like paraphrased things a little bit wrong here and there, so don't take my word for it 100%, but that's basically what I got from it. The main thing, basically, they want to go back to the roots or whatever. That I know for a fact is what the translation said. So whether or not Wuthering Waves existed, maybe they're still planning on doing this new fan service route or whatever. Also, there has been a lot of female characters in the game ever since Natlin. Yeah, this is like a whole new direction for Genshin. Maybe it could be an influence of Wuthering Waves, maybe not, who knows. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Genshin didn't have a lot of waifus and like female characters prior to Wuthering Waves, but at the same time, Natlin definitely took it to a whole nother level. But I do remember this one time in Genshin where they basically just released male characters and just rerun female characters. I think it was like almost a year, I believe. I remember I saved up a lot of primos during that time. Yeah, there was that one time where they did that, and now maybe they're doing it for the female side or like the waifu side. Maybe they might shift towards like the husbando side or like the male character side after this. Who knows? I have no idea. Genshin did start out having a bunch of like male character banners in the beginning. I remember I was saving a whole bunch of like primos at the time, and I was like waiting to pull. Oh my god. I remember when I first started Genshin, I had a whole bunch of primos saved up, and I did not have a single limited character until Ganyu. It's crazy, like 3 months into the game. It's wild. But yeah, it's kind of irrelevant. But I just kind of bring it up because, man, those are dark times for me. But yeah, the increase of fan service could be Wuthering Waves influence, maybe not. I don't know, but it definitely gets you thinking. But also another thing that Wuthering Waves might have influence in Genshin is the Traveler's importance in the story. Or it's not importance, but like the fact they have like epic moments, I guess. If you guys haven't played Wuthering Waves, the rover in that game is super cool. The things that they do in the story is actually really awesome. And they have a lot of cool moments, and like the entire story is kind of like revolved around them in a way. Like they feel like super important in everything, like everywhere. When it comes to the Traveler in Genshin, there are times where while the main story does focus on them, like some of the events focus on them and world quests and whatnot focus on them, there's times when Genshin where the Traveler doesn't really feel important, and also like they don't really do anything epic at times. Like when I played Wuthering Waves, I felt like the rover did so many more cool things in the span of a few months compared to the Traveler in 4 years. That's just how I feel. When I mean cool stuff, I mean like epic cutscenes, whatever, where they show off their power. And also the rover just felt more important than the Traveler at times. Like there's sometimes I'm playing Archon quest, or sometimes I'm playing like the event story quest or character story quest, and I'm just like, why is the Traveler even here? Like there's no reason for them to be here. They don't really need to be here. Like, why are they here? And there's time where I feel like they're kind of being ignored. The biggest culprit is like the official Immonocrite summer event. That one, the biggest one, I'm like, why is the Traveler even here? There's no reason for them to be there. But this is a topic I definitely want to talk more about in the future when it comes to like the Traveler and their importance, as well as like summer event stuff as well. Yeah, definitely look forward to that in the future. If I remember correctly, the biggest thing the Traveler did in that event story quest was at the end when Nahida was talking to them in their head. I think it was Nahida anyway. I felt like the only reason why Traveler was even there was for that last ending cutscene. Other than that, I don't know what they even did at all. And the other times in the story, events, or whatever, that I felt the same way. So it's possible that Wuthering Waves could have influenced Genshin and HoYovese in making the Traveler a little more important. Now, I don't think that's like the main reason. Like I said before, HoYovese did the whole going back to my root thing thing interview with Genshin players, and maybe they talked about how maybe the traveler's been getting neglected or whatever, and maybe they changed it to a whole new direction. I have no idea. So maybe not like a Wuthering Waves thing, but maybe it did play a part. I have no idea. Who knows? But ever since Wuthering Waves came out, I felt like travel was a little more important. The entirety of the Natlan story quest was praised. The travel's gotten so much more attention and more cool cutscenes than it did in like the past 4 years. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but that's what it feels like. I also haven't really played the new Hot Spring event, so I don't know what happened. I know they did foreshadow the traveler and A fighting something. I don't know, don't spoil it please, but something like that. So yeah, like as a traveler fan and a traveler main, it is nice to see them get more relevance, I guess. Not really relevant, they are relevant. Like the stories kind of revolved around them in a way, I guess. Not really, it's actually more like the travelers have revolved around the story. Like not so much the stories revolve around them. Whereas in Wuthering Waves, the stories revolve around the rover. At least for now anyway. I don't know if that change in the future. But also Genshin is starting to get into like the, not really the end, but almost near like the end. That's when things are gonna start ramping up, where the traveler's story is really gonna shine or whatever and take the main stage. So I guess maybe that's why they're kind of building up the traveler now, to really get them going to, so when they get to like the end, they'll be like super strong, super relevant, whatever. So I don't know, maybe that's why. But yeah, personally I like this change a lot, because it actually feels like the traveler is now like a main character, even though they were always the main character. I just feel like now it's like the I'm here moment. Like he is the main character. Like there's no like debate or whatever. If that makes any sense. Whether or not Wuthering Waves influenced that, who knows. Another thing I felt like maybe Wuthering Waves influence in Genshin is combat. If you guys haven't played Wuthering Waves, the combat in that game is very fun, and some of the characters do some like crazy things. Some of the characters, when they're doing like the normal attacks or whatever, they attack like half the map basically. Like the newest character, Phoebe, her attack string just feels like she attacks the entire map. It's crazy. Whereas in Genshin, it's not really like that. But with the recent Natlan characters, things have been getting a little bit crazy when it comes to the combat. Like Chaska's flying cannon thing that basically attacks a whole bunch of enemies is awesome. It's so much fun to play. And also Mariko with her bike was crazy. If you do a charge attack, she like does a spin that like basically attacks a whole bunch of enemies, if there's a lot of them anyway. Like so many other characters coming out, like the newest character, Varissa, it just kind of leaked stuff, but her combat is crazy. Like it's basically like a plunge character, and she's also very reminiscent of that one character from Wuthering Waves, Roshia, I think that's how to pronounce the name. But yeah, it's very similar to her. To me, Genshin got inspired by Wuthering Waves with their combat and decided to make their combat a little bit crazy and more fun. As kind of subjective, but then again, it also could have been HoYovese already planning this from the start. So yeah, I don't know. But it just kind of feels like it, you know. But yeah, those are all the stuff I can think of when it comes to what Wuthering Waves kind of influenced into Genshin. If you have any more ideas or comparisons, definitely let me know in the comment section below. But it definitely has been a lot of quality of life updates, as well as just stuff that I feel like Wuthering Waves influenced in Genshin ever since Wuthering Waves came out. And honestly, I'm looking forward to seeing more of this. But yeah, with Wuthering Waves kind of on the horizon, I will see HoYovese up their game and make Genshin even better. I'm so glad that Genshin finally has competition, because having competition makes the product better for both sides. And all of us win when there's competition, because we got a better product. And yeah, I don't know why people want Wuthering Waves or Genshin to fail when it should be the opposite. You should want your competitor to succeed. That way they'll force your game to get better. We the players cannot lose when it comes to other games having competition. If a game doesn't have competition, there's no incentive for a company or a game to improve. Look at how Genshin was before Wuthering Waves. While it is good, there's still a lot of flaws, and even with Wuthering Waves being out and Genshin getting a lot better, there's always going to be flaws. There's going to be less of them with competition, because in order to beat your competition, you have to bring your A game and actually improve. Whereas if you don't have competition, there's no need to improve, because you own the entire market. It kind of very similar to Overwatch and Marvel Rivals. You guys can pay attention to that. Overwatch has been on a decline for a little bit, in my opinion. Yeah, and it didn't really fix anything. But it wasn't until Marvel Rivals came out recently that they've been starting to improve the game. So yeah, very similar to Genshin and Wuthering Waves. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see how these two games improve in the future. I really want to see these two games inspire each other. Honestly, I wouldn't mind them taking things from each other's games, at least the good things anyway, because there's some things in Wuthering Waves I want in Genshin, and there's some things in Genshin I want in Wuthering Waves. So yeah, honestly, I just want to see both these games succeed and improve and just do better. Like, I'll be playing both games either way, so yeah, I win either way. But anyway, that's kind of about it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want to see more Genshin Impact content like this, definitely hit the like and subscribe button. But yeah, also let me know what you guys thought about this topic. Are there any things you guys noticed that Genshin Impact kind of got inspired by from Wuthering Waves, as well as you guys notice all the quality of life changes that happened in Genshin ever since Wuthering Waves came out. Let me know all that stuff down below in the comments. But yeah, I'll be making a video in the future talking about some of the quality of life updates I want to see in Genshin in the future, so definitely look forward to that video if you guys are interested. But anyways, comment on this video if you guys enjoyed, and yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later.